Why is it that NFL running backs dominate when they're in their early 20s, but seem to hit a wall by age 28? This isn't just general wear and tear or happenstance. There's actually physiological reasons why these running backs are declining early. In this series, what we're going to do is we're going to break down 9 physiological factors that break down the reasons why these running backs seem to fade sooner and earlier than most other positions in the NFL. All right, the first 3 factors are what I call the explosiveness equation. These are things that are impacting the running back's ability to be explosive, to make these cuts, to make these jumps. One of them being the muscle fiber type, right? Running backs are going to use the fast twitch fibers that really explode that athlete forward. And these fibers start to decrease in prevalence as well as their ability around age 28 in your late 20s. Similarly, neuromuscular efficiency starts to decline as you start to age. This is the brain's ability to fire the muscle, which decreases in your late 20s specifically, but also as these running backs start to age. And that last factor in the explosiveness equation is rate force development. How fast can the athlete develop force in order to perform a cutting motion, a juking motion, sprinting, whatever it might be, those explosive motions? How quickly can they develop force in order to make that cut or motion happen sooner? The next segment is cross-sectional area of that muscle. The greater the size of the muscle, the stronger the muscle can be. But as you start to age, that cross-sectional area actually decreases, which then produces less force and strength for that muscle and thus that athlete. Similarly, tendon stiffness is really, really key to making explosive, powerful movements. This also starts to decrease as the running back ages, almost like those tendons start to get mushy. The second segment of these factors are coordination, energy, and longevity. So the first factor in this segment is actually going to be inter or intramuscular efficiency. This decreases with age, but what this is that the ability of the muscle to work in tandem with not only other muscles, but within itself, and how they all work together and how smoothly that is to happen. Because the faster and smoother the motion, the sooner the activity or the movement occurs on the field, making that running back more explosive, more agile, and more elusive. The energy system also plays a role in this. Your short, explosive movements that these running backs perform are primarily provided by your ATP or glycolytic energy systems, which only lasts for a short period of time. As you age, these systems become less efficient, making it more difficult for these athletes to make these cuts and movements at the drop of a hat. Also, joint mobility and stability plays a huge role. If there isn't as much mobility or stability, especially from all the hits that they're taking over time, they don't recover as quickly. They have to perform more recovery work. If they aren't able to keep up with how much activity they're doing or how much of a beating they're taking, if we're being honest, then those limitations show up on the field and they can't reach the same range of motion or strength or stability in order to perform on the field. The last factor, and possibly the most important, is the cognitive motor integration system. So this is the brain's ability to see what's happening around it, coordinate it to the muscles, and react to the situation that's occurring. Over time, as running backs age, as all of us age, but particularly for running backs, the window for their decision making is very, very small. They have to make a cut, they have to find a hole, they have to try to decide what move am I going to use to try to get past this person, whatever it might be. As this process and this timeline slows, those reactions end up happening after the window has already passed or that hole has already passed for them to go through. So in this series, we're going to break down each one of these factors in more detail. And overall, when you see your running back start to decline, whether it's their speed, their elusiveness, their vision on the field, it's not just because they're just getting old or they don't have it anymore, they've lost a spark, or just the wear and tear that they've taken over the years. There's actually reasons behind it. That's what we're going to break down in this series. So stick around because this is going to get super interesting. We're going to go into pretty good depth. We're going to finally uncover the mystery of why running backs decline at age 28.